Graph. Label the vertex, the y-intercept, and any x-intercepts. We're graphing y equals the opposite of x squared plus x minus 5. Let's start by finding the vertex. We can use a formula to find the vertex of this. The formula is the opposite of b over 2a. And here b is 1 and a is negative 1. So the opposite of 1 over 2 times negative 1, which is the opposite of 1 over negative 2, which is 1/2. Now what that gives us is the x-coordinate of the vertex. To find the y-coordinate of the vertex, we use the equation. We have y equals the opposite of x squared, which is 1/2 squared, plus x, which is 1/2, minus 5. And when we calculate this, we get negative 19/4. That tells us that our vertex is the point 1/2, negative 19/4. Now we're also asked to find the y-intercept and any x-intercepts. Let's start by talking about x-intercepts. At x-intercepts, we would have y equal to 0, and normally we would solve this equation. 0 equals the opposite of x squared plus x minus 5 to find x-intercepts. In this case, however, the vertex is below the x-axis, right? And because the coefficient of the x squared is negative, the parabola is going to open down, so there will be no x-intercepts. We can find the y-intercept when we make the table of values to find other points that are on the parabola. We choose some values for x, and we find the corresponding values for y. We'll let one of our x values be 0, and that way we can find the y-intercept. So let's start by letting x be negative 2, and if we substitute negative 2 in for x, we would find that y is negative 11. Let's let x equal negative 1. If we substitute negative 1 in for x, we find that y is negative 7. When x is 0, this will give us our y-intercept. We find that y is negative 5. And a couple more values. When x is 1, y is negative 5. And when x is 2, y is negative 7. And this gives us 5 more points that are on the parabola, and this point here will be the y-intercept. Now we can plot the points and then sketch the graph of the equation. First of all, let's plot the vertex. We have 1/2, and negative 19/4 is almost negative 5. So we'll put our vertex here. Negative 2, negative 11 would be off the graph the way I've drawn it, so we won't plot that one. Negative 1, negative 7 gives us this point. 0, negative 5 is the y-intercept. That's here. 1, negative 5, and 2, negative 7. And we can now sketch the graph of the equation. And we are asked to label the vertex and the y-intercept. So we'll label the vertex as 1/2, negative 19/4. The y-intercept we'll label as 0, negative 5, and there are no x-intercepts. As a last step, let's label the equation itself. Y equals the opposite of x squared plus x minus 5.